gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the AfroMattt Show. I'm your host, AfroMattt, and as usual, this is episode 122. As usual, if you're new here, thanks for coming. I don't know if someone told you about me, but I'm here. And if you're a return customer, repeat customer, thank you for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. Today we are drinking Fresca, not an alcoholic beverage. Refreshing. All right. Episode 122. Today is June 15th, and we are going to hop right in with the news. I finished a book. A really, really short book. This one was only 123 pages. Super easy, big words, plain English. It was originally written in French, translated to English. It's called The Stranger by Albert Camus. Looks like almost like C. Anus. And this book was actually pretty interesting. It's about this dude. His name's Montesour or something. Monsieur. And he is having a chill day. He's chilling. Everyone in the book calls him Monsieur Murasalt. And so he's chilling. He gets a babe. The babe and him are chilling. They go swimming and shit. And, the first half of this book is super chill until the very end of the first half when he shoots someone like 9 times. He finds a friend. He finds a girlfriend. His friend is, he likes hookers. And one of these girls that he hung out with, his friend was cheating on him, so he beat the fuck out of her. The police came or whatever, and then ever since that, the hooker's brothers have been like following him, and since the main character was friends with him, they went to like a beach for vacation. They're called the Arabs in this book, the Arabs. The Arabs followed them, and they were kind of weirded out. They were on the beach chilling, and then the Arabs showed up, and they're like, whoa. And then they pulled a knife and slashed the dude's face. And then the main character, for like no real reason in general, kind of found himself attracted back to that location where the fight happened, and he shot one of the dudes like 7 times while the sun was blinding him. Then the second half of the book is him kind of going through the whole trial, and he kind of just feels bad because the main trial revolves around him and whether or not he was showing compassion for or remorse or whatever. And then they tie in with his mother recently dying, and the prosecution's like, well, his mother died, and then the very next day he's getting a girlfriend and going to the beach. You wouldn't, no sane individual would do that. And then eventually it gets to the point where it's like, the prosecution calls for the death penalty, and he's like, well, what am I supposed to do? I'm getting the death penalty for killing someone. And also because I didn't show remorse, or I didn't cry when my mom died. It was like kind of crazy. In the end, right before he's about to die, a priest comes in and tries to get him to like confess his sins or whatever, or show remorse. And he's like, dude, I'm chilling. I am so chill right now. I don't need you. It's all right. It's good. So he pretty much says that to the priest, and the priest is like, dude, no one on death row has ever told me they're chill. And the dude's like, the main character is an absolute beast. He's like, actually, I'm not that chill right now because you're actually messing up my time of being at peace with myself. And he's like, I was enjoying myself in solitary confinement. I was staring up at the sky. and you came in talking about Jesus and shit, and he's like, can you just leave me alone so I can enjoy the last whatever days I have left of my life. And the dude's like, all right. So in conclusion, this book, super easy read. I'm sure, with all these books, reading them again is going to be a lot more beneficial, because I am a slow reader and I have a pretty good comprehension, but with these classics, they have so much underlying meaning and they're very layered, like an onion. But this one, my first initial impression was to, a pretty interesting theme that he brings up is that the human mind and the human body is so quick to adjust. Like, he enjoyed his freedom when he was outside. When he went to prison, he had about like three months where he was thinking like a free man, but then he easily adjusted to prison life, and he was like, he didn't smoke anymore, and his time became based on prison. It's like, well, they opened up the gates or whatever. And then after that, he easily adjusted to solitary confinement when he was on death row. So it's like, it's all about, it's this interesting underlying meaning of like, wherever you are in life is just like kind of your circumstances. At least this is how I take it. And you've just kind of got to make the most of it. And especially, I mean, the way he describes prison and his feelings while he's in there, it makes you happy to be a free person. And what freedom really means. Like, in the beginning, he's like swimming and he feels the sun on his skin, and he's lying down with his girlfriend and they're on the beach. He's running his hand in the sand. And then when he's in prison, he just hears the ocean. He only hears the ocean, and he starts seeing his wife or his girlfriend. He starts imagining her face on some of the rocks, and he tries so hard to remember her face when he's in solitary confinement. So it's like, it's like an interesting look at freedom and what freedom means, and an interesting look at it's kind of like Kafka. I kind of got Kafka vibes when he was going through his trial, because Kafka wrote a book called The Trial, when the dude's on trial for a crime he doesn't even know, and he's going through like the whole system, the whole bureaucratic system, and he's like, can anyone tell me what's happening here? And that's kind of how this guy feels. Like, during parts of the trial, he just wanted to scream out. He's like, why are you asking me if I cried during my mom's funeral? This is a case about me killing a dude. And he's like, I did kill the Arab, but that has, like, me crying at my mom's funeral has nothing to do with this. And the prosecution kept bringing it up. They're like, a man who would not cry at his mother's funeral would obviously show no remorse over this murder or whatever. And it was like, he just wanted to interject, but he really couldn't. And he really felt like he had no say in the matter. They interviewed him twice, and then the whole prosecution, or the whole thing, like, went on without him doing anything. It was like 2 years or whatever with him in prison, and the whole thing kind of wrapped up in 5 minutes. He showed up like one day. He spends 2 years in jail, barely a part of a prosecution he has really no say in. They interviewed him in the beginning, got the facts, and then his lawyer just started to put together the argument. He shows up for the day, and then boom, in 2 days he's got the death penalty, and now he's just on death row. It's really interesting, and this was a time in books, I feel like this, and The Old Man in the Sea, 1946. He won the Nobel Prize in Literature for this novel, and it came out in 1946. This was a time when I think that books were like super bite-sized, like Old Man in the Sea, Hemingway, some of Kurt Vonnegut, Slaughterhouse-Five, like super easy to read, just blast through them. But, now we have books that are like, look at this shit. This is from Brandon Sanderson. This absolute monster of a novel. I haven't even attempted to read this bitch because, it is the size of my head. Like, it's the thickness of my head. It's crazy. Little exaggeration, but how many pages is this thing? This is 1,000 pages exactly. 1,001 pages. I mean, what? How much do you have to say? I mean, and this is one of like 12 in the series or whatever. Like, really, is there that much story to tell, Brandon? Is there really that much story? What themes are you getting across in that many pages that couldn't be captured in a much, much smaller book, you know? But of course, this is fantasy, and fantasy is like deals with action and not like emotion and themes and stuff. That's why I like to read classical novels, because it deals with, you know, the real human condition instead of you know, fighting dragons with magic, which is, I mean, there's a place for that for sure. But final verdict for The Stranger by Albert Camus. I give it a 10 out of 10. I love small bite-sized books like this, like The Metamorphosis by Kafka as well. Love small books like this. Really small, really bite-sized. You know, just hop in, hop out, go to town. I finished that in like one afternoon. It was crazy. I bought it on Saturday and I finished it by Monday. It was big, huge. Love that. That being said, let's get right into the news. The news. You're listening to the news. Oh, shit. The news. Boom. Boomba. So, what do we have on the news? Okay, this is interesting. And this kind of opened up a wormhole for me, I'm not going to lie. So, this is the Unabomber. Ted Kaczynski died by suicide. Was found dead Saturday in his North Carolina prison cell, the Federal Bureau of Prisons says. Yeah, okay.
Died by suicide. The Harvard...
Yeah, died by suicide.
Into the weekend death of Unabomber Ted Kaczynski. He was found unresponsive in his cell on Saturday at a federal prison.
Wait, what is this?
Metro has unlimited 5G for just $25.
Oh my God! Can I not get
Investigation
a
is
million
underway
ads?
into the weekend death of Unabomber Ted Kaczynski. He was found unresponsive in his cell on Saturday at a federal prison hospital, and he later died. The Associated Press, citing 4 people familiar with the case, reported that Kaczynski died by suicide. The Harvard-educated mathematician confessed to a 17-year package bombing spree. It killed 3 people and injured 23 others.
17
he was eventually found
years.
in 1996, living in a shack in Montana after one of the longest and most expensive manhunts in U.S. history. Ted Kaczynski was 81 years old.
So, Ted Kaczynski died by suicide. So he was 81. I'm pretty sure that he had life in prison. It is suspicious that someone who has life in prison, who has been in prison for a long time, he was 81, would decide to kill themselves. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why they would kill him. Like, them killing Jeff, and by them I mean probably the CIA or FBI, because they killed Jeffrey Epstein almost 100%. It's, you know, the jury's still out on that, but I mean, come on. So, yeah, so Ted Kaczynski died. This made me look into Ted Kaczynski. Ted Kaczynski, the man known as the Unabomber. Let's see. He served 25 life sentence, 25 years to his 25 years of his life sentence. A senior law officer said. He was found dead Saturday in a North Carolina prison. The Federal Bureau. He was transferred to maximum security Colorado prison because of his declining health. So he was already declining in health. He was diagnosed with cancer. Severity was unclear. Kaczynski pled guilty in 1998 to a series of bombings across the country from 1978 to 1995. Maybe the best bomber. Like, Has there been someone who's put up that many numbers since Ted Kaczynski? He was a Harvard graduate mathematician. This guy had a crazy high IQ. We're talking genius level IQ. His first bomb was found in a parking lot at the University of Illinois, Chicago. Some of the other collegiate targets included the University of Michigan, Yale University, Vanderbilt University, and University of California, Berkeley. 3 people were killed and 23 were injured, and injured in 16 explosions created by a Harvard-educated Kaczynski. His homemade bombs were sent by the mail, including altitude-triggered explosives that went off on American Airlines flights. So this guy was smart. In 1995, threat to blow up a plane out of Los Angeles before the end of July 4th weekend threw air travel and mail delivery into chaos. The Unabomber later claimed it was a prank. Dude, it's just a prank, bro. TikTok. Yo, guys, in this TikTok episode, we are going to prank porch pirates coming to steal my Amazon package. We have rigged it with explosives. When they take it to their home, that we'll be able to watch in first person their final moments. Have you? I think you. I mean, that is a good prank. Have you seen this guy that does the porch pirate pranks? Porch pirate prank. It's really funny. He fills it with glitter. Glitter Bomb 3.0 with 51 million views.
This guy stole my package from a porch, and he's about to open it in his house.
Hello.
But what he doesn't know is that this is the 3rd generation of a new and improved custom-built bait package that's recording him on 4 different phones and just released a pound of the world's
Yeah, this guy just stole 4 different phones.
finest glitter, along with some other nasty surprises. But to understand how we got here, we first have to go back in time a bit.
All right, we're not watching this whole video, but you know, you get the gist. I often had fantasies of killing the kind of people I hated, i.e. government officials, police, computer scientists, the rowdy type of college students who left their beer cans in the arboretum, etc., he wrote. Kaczynski killed computer rental store owner Hugh Scrunton, advertising executive Thomas Mosser, and timber industry lobbyist. Okay, so dude, timber industry lobbyist. So he killed a timber industry lobbyist, and we're supposed to feel bad. Bombs maimed California geneticist Charles Epstein. Oh my! This could have just busted open. This could have just been busted open. Bombs maimed California geneticist Charles Epstein and Yale University computer expert David Gelernter. 2 days apart. If you or someone you know is in crisis, call a suicide hotline. Okay, well, dude, that is actually crazy. So this guy was sending bombs and targeting people that he wanted to target. So yes, he is a murderer, and yes, he is a terrorist. Effective? Yes. So the Unabomber, his main philosophy was anti-industrial technology. He saw what was happening now. He foresaw the technology control that, you know, the negative effects that come from technology have on the human race. He predicted ahead of time, and he was trying to kill. He might have been from a time machine, and his goal that they sent him back in time for was to take out very important people. It's like, okay, here's your targets, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. You need to hit these targets at this time, or the world will end in 2025 when we all have, chips slotted into our brain and we're all looking through goggles that make everything colorful. That's the world he came through. They sent him in a time machine like the Terminator, and his job was to make sure that didn't become a reality. But they got him. So we live in the worst timeline, probably. But Ted Kaczynski, he hates technology. He went and lived in like, his philosophy was kind of like, a man only needs so much to survive, right? We're constantly stuffing our fat fucking mouths with food, and we're constantly exploding our brains and like raping our dopamine receptors with like constant stimulation and stuff. And he just said, like, I guess his extrapolation from that was that over time we would become more and more exploited through our our lizard brain, part of our the dopamine up there. And I mean, obviously he was targeting timber lobbyists. He knew who he was hitting. So I don't know if do I have to publicly condone this, or do I have to publicly condone Ted Kaczynski, or is my video going to be taken down, or am I going to be on an FBI watch list? I mean, I'm probably already on an FBI watch list because I did purchase on Amazon Ted Kaczynski's manifesto on Amazon. It is being shipped to my mom's house, so the FBI will show up there. But his manifesto is called the what is it called? Ted Kaczynski Ted Kaczynski. How do you spell this damn last name? Kaczynski manifesto. What is it called? Yeah, it is. Oh, you can find it for free on Google Docs. That's wild. If I click this link, am I going to be the Industrial Revolution and dude, this is the whole. Is this the whole thing? Oh no, this is just the intro. The power process, surrogate activities. Autonomy, sources for social problems. Among the abnormal conditions present in the modern industrial society are excessive density of population, isolation of man from nature, excessive rapidity of social change, and the breakdown of natural small-scale communities such as the extended family, the village, and the tribe. So he's saying, like, there's a way a human is supposed to live on this planet. We are designed to live, and we are living with these modern technologies have broken us from the way we're supposed to live, and he wants to get back to how we're supposed to live. Thus, science marches on blindly without regard for the real welfare of the human race and any other natural standard, obedient only to psychological needs of scientists and the government. Corporation executives that provide the funds for research. That is true. Science has only progressed, and this has been the case in almost all of history, by the people with the money. That's why you don't get real progress from just people who want to make something. They need motivation, and oftentimes that's just money. So I don't know. I'm interested in reading a little bit about it, and there will be a book review on that, and that episode will probably be taken down. I just thought that was really interesting. I agree, or maybe I don't. Maybe there will probably be some that I agree with and some that I don't. With some of his ideologies. Obviously, some that I don't is the mailing of bombs, but it is what it is. Let's move on to the new news. More news. Billionaire Sackler family gets immunity from civil lawsuits over opioid crisis.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. This week, a federal appeals court ruled members of the Sackler family, the billionaire owners of OxyContin maker Purdue Pharma, can receive complete immunity from...
Dude, this might be, and I don't know why literally no one is talking about this, but the pharma company Purdue Pharma, they make opioids, OxyContin, which might be one of the single biggest reasons for drug addiction in not even like the last decade, but of all time. They might be the biggest distributors of, like, I think this is opioids. Obviously, yeah. I mean, I think that the numbers are there. They're obviously the largest distributor of opioids over, like, not even over the counter, but they're like pretty much. You walk in. There was like a time in 2008 when you walk in and you say you have a sore foot, and I think they paid doctors to give them opioids. Like they were like, hey, if you guys sell so many of these OxyContin, you get like a kickback, you get commission on these. They were selling drugs through doctors. The drugs that they were selling were highly addicted. Opioids, the most addictive thing. Wars have been fought over opium in China. I mean, it's one of the most addictive drugs. Opioids, they call it the opioid epidemic. Purdue Pharma is at the heart of the opioid epidemic. And I mean, probably the reason why there are so many homeless people to this day. Like the homeless crisis, you can probably track it back to an increase in, like, if you plotted over time population of homelessness and Purdue Pharma revenue, I think they would probably be pretty close to the same line. As they sell more opioids, more people become homeless because they can't go to their jobs because they're addicted to opioids. They spend all their money on opioids. When they lose their prescription to opioids, they have to turn to the black market to get their fix. Now they're messing around with, like, you don't know what is in those pills. Like when you get it from Purdue, I'm sure that the government probably checked Purdue, but when you run out of your prescription, okay, you can't you can only go so long after getting a knee surgery on OxyContin, right? When you run out, I mean, these people are addicted to this drug. They have to turn somewhere. They go to wherever you go to get OxyContin. And they're getting some jank, cranked up shit. Now they're getting addicted to other drugs that they didn't even know. Now there's fentanyl. Now they have to worry about dying from fentanyl while they're doing, like, copious amounts of drugs, like random hard white pills. Like, now maybe OxyContin's not enough anymore. Now maybe they turn to meth. Now maybe they're doing meth. Okay, now maybe meth's not enough. Maybe they want something that's a bit of a downer. Maybe they're tired of being all methed up and out of their mind and everything's crazy. They're talking super fast. They're going crazy. Now maybe they want to cool down, come back to the OxyContin. Now they're getting into heroin. So now they're shooting up straight heroin into their veins. Now they're homeless on the street, walking around like a living zombie on California, Hollywood Boulevard. And you wonder, and you track it all back to Purdue Pharma. And Purdue Pharma, as of this week, is immune to every civil lawsuit that can ever be thrown at it, as of from now until infinity, I guess, which is crazy.
From all current and future civil litigation related.
Current and future civil litigation against the company. Immune to all.
To their role in creating and fueling the opioid epidemic. The legal shield could lead to a settlement in the range of $6 billion for thousands of plaintiffs, including states, local governments, and tribes. Tuesday's ruling reverses a 2021 court decision that did not protect Sackler family members from liability as part of Purdue Pharma's bankruptcy declaration. The case can still be appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Okay, I'm going to say this now, and this might get my video taken down, but if Ted Kaczynski had sent a bomb to the Sackler family, I would not cry. I would not lose a single minute of sleep. I'm just putting that out there. I'm not telling anyone else to do anything, and please don't. because I'd be fucked. But if in a past life Ted Kaczynski had, I think it would have been sort of a moment of triumph for the human race.
Opioid overdoses have killed over 500,000 people in the United States over the past 20 years, this according to the CDC, including prescription and illicit drugs. For more, we're joined by two guests. Ed Bish's 18-year-old son, Eddie, died of an OxyContin-related...
Yeah, we're not going to watch this, but Federal Appeals Court on Tuesday ruled that members of the Sackler family can receive immunity from all current and future civil litigation related to their role in creating and fueling the opioid crisis. The billionaire Sacklers own Purdue Pharma, makers of the highly addictive opioid OxyContin. The legal shield could lead to a settlement in the range of $6 billion for thousands of plaintiffs. I mean, this is absolutely crazy. I mean, it just shows, like, and you know 100%, and actually this is true, the biggest contributor to all of Fox News and CNN, listen, let me say that again, the biggest contributor to all of CNN and Fox News and MSNBC and pretty much anywhere, any, like, traditional news on TV is pharmaceutical companies. That's why every damn time you watch one of those videos, watch any of those channels, you get 1,000 fucking ads for erectile dysfunction. Oh, do you have hypothermia? Do you have, hip dysplasia? They just spam you with so much of that shit because they're all the pharmaceutical companies, and they're advertising to old people. They're like, the target demographic is like 65 years old, and all the ads are bought and purchased by pharmaceutical companies selling drugs. They're the number one source of income for news networks, and it's not just one. They don't just pick sides. Why would you pick sides when you're trying to make money? They're a business. They are a business. It's very important for you to know they're a business. They're not some sort of charity giving away OxyContin. God, I wish. Oh, God, I'd wish they'd give me some OxyContin for free. No, but they're a business. So they sell it to the hospital. And we used to have a real estate agent on our team that used to do this. They go to a hospital, to a doctor, and they pitch their drug. It's a sales pitch. They are sales pitch. They are salesmen. There are salesmen that work for OxyContin, selling OxyContin. Legal drug dealers. And I mean, I don't even know. I lost my train of thought, but I mean, it's just crazy. Oh, here's what I was saying. They're the number one contributor to news. They're unbiased on who they give money to. So they can kind of control the narrative. When you're getting paid, when your paycheck is coming like a huge part of your paycheck is coming from someone, you kind of got to turn a little ear to them and be like, okay, yeah, we'll consider that, whatever. And they do it to the news, but they're also lobbying for the government. Pharmaceutical companies lobby so much shit to the government so they can get like FDA regulations and shit. It is absolutely absurd. And I mean, like, when you look into all this stuff, you realize everything is so insanely connected. Like, the wires are so fucking crossed. You cannot defuse the bomb without blowing it up. Take that. Okay, there's been a lot of bomb references in this. Do not. This is. All right, let's just move on. Let's move along. All right, speaking of bombs, Saudi Arabia merges with Live Golf. That's a Saudi Arabia golf company. Have merged with the PGA Tour to combine all their players. So originally PGA was saying, if you move over to Live Golf, because Live Golf came in with Saudi money. They had that Saudi cash. They had buku bucks. They had that terrorism money. They had that blood money on them. And they were rolling up to these players like Phil Mickelson, and they're like, hey, we'll pay you $20 million if you play for Live Golf. And he's like, okay, so I get to play golf, and I get paid $20 million. I'm not seeing a downside. And of course, people are like, well, you know, Saudi Arabia, they kind of flew a couple planes into a couple towers a while back. They also, you know, general shenanigans, blood money, stuff like that. It's probably slave miners mining, like literal miners mining, miners. And, you know, Phil Mickelson's like, okay, that's pretty chill. This person, golf stars take on Saudi money fueling PGA-Live merger. His name's Bryson DeChambeau, joined CNN and defended Saudi Arabia after criticism came out due to its controversial merger with PGA Tour. DeChambeau, who is one of the best players right now, DeChambeau, he kind of revolutionized the size, the length of his golf clubs. He trimmed them all to the same size to improve consistency. But I mean, that's besides the point. He's a really great player, super consistent, really, really good. He's actually kind of come out of nowhere in the last couple years. I'm sure, I know in sports, coming out of nowhere means they put in a lot of hard work and whatnot. But that's besides the point. DeChambeau joined Live Golf, whose funds are backed by Saudi Arabia, in June of 2020. Many PGA Tour players like Tiger Woods turned down millions upon millions of dollars and remained on the PGA Tour. There's a lot more behind closed doors that's been going on. What I can tell you is that Saudi Arabia's public investment fund governor, Yasser Al-Rahmaniyah, has always been a staunch supporter of golf globally and wants to grow the game. Oh, I'm sure. They're accused of financing terrorism. They're accused of killing Washington Post reporter Jamal Khashoggi, which they did. How do you feel knowing that is who your money is backed by? DeChambeau replied, it's unfortunate what has happened, but you know, that is not something I can speak on because I'm a golfer. What I can say is that what they're trying to do is be better allies because we're allied with them. I'm not going to get into the politics of it. I'm not specialized in it. But what I can say is they're trying to do good for the world and showcase themselves in a light that hasn't been seen in a while. Nobody's perfect, but we're all trying to improve in life. 9/11 Families United, an advocacy group consisting of people who had family members killed and hurt in September 11th, released statements saying they are shocked and deeply offended by the merger. So, and I mean, I know coming from me, it's kind of a double standard to be mad at Saudi Arabia for flying planes into the towers when I kind of think it was our own government. But, you know, it could have been like a joint effort, really. But, you know, publicly Saudi Arabia crashed two towers or two planes into two towers, and technically a third one fell on its own, unprovoked. But I mean, yeah, this is crazy. DeChambeau saying, well, nobody's perfect, but we're all trying to improve in life. You know, dude, that would be so funny. Imagine a sitcom where an ex-terrorist is trying to better his life. He's like, yeah, man, I just got out of the game. I'm ashamed of some of the things I did. And there's like a scene of like them watching him behead someone. He's like, guys, can you turn that off? That's not me anymore. I've changed. And they're like, well, Ahmoud, you're improving so much. You've gotten so much better. You joined an acting class. You're really awesome, dude. You're so cool, Ahmoud. And they're all like high-fiving Ahmoud. And he's just like, yes, I've changed so much. We're all, and it's in the slogan, the tagline of the whole show is nobody's perfect, but we're all trying to improve. A terrorist's life after terrorism. That would be a good show. And you get some inclusion. You can have, you have a terrorist, which is the ultimate inclusion. You get, I mean, he's probably Arab or Saudi Arabian. You can have like an Asian best friend come in. The Asian best friend's like coding, and Ahmoud comes in. And he's like, "Oh, what is that?" And he's like, "I'm coding." He's like, "Oh, I used to do a lot of those when we had a code and hack into American drones while they were striking us, and then we would turn them around and fly them into troops." He's like, "Oh, okay, Ahmoud, that's good." And Ahmoud like hops on and he starts typing. It's like, whoa, you're really good at this. Have you ever thought about being a programmer? And then the whole episode is kind of revolved around him trying to fit into the office. He comes in like a full-on, turban garb and whatnot, and everyone's like, whoa. And he's like, don't worry. And he opens his vest, and instead of a bomb being strapped, it's like a keyboard and like a mouse and keyboard and like, that's a fun sitcom. And then there's obviously a laugh track playing in the background. Oh, Ahmoud. You're so silly. You're so silly. DeChambeau. I actually really liked that guy. He was pretty chill, but I mean, honestly, he was just trying to secure the bag. Can you blame him? He's just trying to secure the bag. It's a huge bag. A massive bag. He was securing the pouch. The pouch was secured. Satchel. He claimed the satchel. The 20 million satchel. He got it. It is what it is. Let's see. Let's see what else. What other news do we have? Trump arraignment. So this happened recently. Trump raised $2 million after arraignment, which is pretty interesting. So former President Donald Trump raised $2 million in the first major fundraiser of his campaign, only 2 hours after his arraignment in Miami, which is crazy. So Trump, so the arraignment that happened, he got, I'm not sure what the difference is between an arraignment and like being arrested, but he is free and he's just chilling. He's out of there. Trump faces 37 felony charges, 31 counts of willful retention of national security records, and 6 counts for allegedly obscuring the federal effort to recover those documents. Something that's interesting about this is, so there's 31 charges, 31 counts of willful retention of national security records. So how many records does it take until it's one charge? Because, like, in my mind, he really only did it once, right? He has one count of withholding 31 records, not 31 counts of holding one record, if that makes sense. So, I mean, really, is it that bad? That is what I'm saying. And they're like, well, we got to protect our national security. And it's like, dude, the files that the government holds, how is that protecting any of our national security? They're withholding. How about the government start releasing some of this stuff so that people don't have to steal it and release it and like whistleblow, like the stuff that just came out about the aliens. Now we have to worry about the aliens. This guy just came out in the news and was started to talk about some weird like alien. What was this? He went on like CNN, aliens, interview whistleblower. Yeah, this guy went on the news like not even, this was 6 days ago.
Grush sat down with investigative journalist Ross Coulthart, who is reporting for News Nation on the bombshell whistleblower complaint filed with Congress and the Intelligence Community Inspector General. According to the complaint, in July 2021, Mr. Grush confidentially provided UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena related classified information, to the Department of Defense Inspector General. At that time, Mr. Grush communicated classified information about the improper withholding and/or concealment of classified material from the U.S. Congress by certain IC elements. News Nation has confirmed Grush's credentials, but he says he can't show us the proof of the alien craft for national security reasons. In a somewhat
yeah, I mean, why? Like, it's just so stupid. And a lot of the stuff that is the whole national security law that they're throwing at Trump is like unconstitutional, I think. Because, and I'm not a lawyer here, but the way that they do this seems to be such a pick and choose situation. Because, for instance, when they do it against Trump gets to walk around. When they do it against, whoever, Edward Snowden. I know Edward Snowden was like expressly targeted to individuals and like named them and called for their murder, whatever. But it's like the same sort of like classified documents or whatever. The Khashoggi, the guy from the Live Golf, that guy Khashoggi, he got murdered as well. From I think he got murdered for releasing documents. There was a journalist who got murdered for leaking documents. But it's like, you should be able to, in a free country, you should be able to leak any documents you want. But the CIA is like, well, it's for our national security. It's for our national security that the people don't know this. Okay, sure. It's for our national security that it just came out that Jeffrey Epstein was flying people to his island. It's for our national security, of course. If those would have been leaked, God save the soul who leaks that, right? That's what I'm saying. It's like, I think that stealing classified documents, and call me crazy, I think that they should just release all classified documents. I don't care if Russia gets any information. I mean, the more information that's available out there, the better in my eyes. Information is power, and the person that holds all the information is the one in power. It is the one that has all the power, right? And if you want the government to have less power, they need to reveal more information. And that's obviously why they have this law. It probably came about during the Patriot Act or some shit. The Patriot Act is really when America fell and it began to crumble. Probably earlier during Reagan period, but when they got off the gold standard. But that's another story for another time. Cop City. Ooh, Cop City. Talk about a good town. Talk about a good time and a good town. Atlanta approves funding to build Cop City. It's kind of funny this is happening on Gay Pride Month, too. Cop City does sound like a super, super gay city. Like they're all standing around in like leather daddy gay, like cop gear. They're like, it's a whole city of just that. It's where they train. Okay, let's get back on track. The Atlanta City Council early on Tuesday approved funding for the construction of a proposed police and fighter fire training center, rejecting the pleas of hundreds of activists who spoke for hours in fierce opposition to a project they decry as Cop City. Some Cop City opponents have faced unprecedented arrests, during which police have accused them under state domestic terrorism statute, prompting legal challenge, which argues the protesters are being unduly targeted for their constitutionally protected free speech. Yeah, free speech is slowly deteriorating. That's why I'm kind of shocked that people are against the right to bear arms. People are like, the government should buy all your guns. It is actually so hard for me to grasp, like mentally, that there are some people out there that want less rights. They want to physically relent and give up a right, a privilege, for this so-called benefit of the masses. It's actually so crazy to me. Like, a fundamental principle of America, and this is kind of an off-topic thing, is like, the freedoms that we all have. And these people that march for like gun control is absolutely mind-boggling. They're like, protect our kids. Our kids are scared of being shot up in school. I'm like, get over it. Make friends. First off, just don't bully anyone. First off, that's what you should be doing. And you should teach your friend you should teach your kids to be nice to everyone. Maybe your kid's an asshole and that's why they got shot. That might be a hot take. But look, I'm saying your chances of being shot go down a lot if you're nice to even the weird kid in the black, duster, the leather jacket. If you're nice to that kid, maybe he points the muzzle the other way. Maybe he doesn't show up to your class. And plus, these kids are in school doing these drills. They know everyone's hiding behind the desks. They know that the lights are off. It's crazy. The whole thing, we used to do them on our school. I'm like, what's the point? I'm going to run out the window immediately. If this is a real drill, I'm opening this window. I'm going to go to my car and I'm going to leave. I'm going to run into the woods. Yeah, sitting and hiding seems to be the worst situation. If you're in a school, just pop it open the window, everyone sprint out, and just run. Just run, and you can recoup the kids later. Count the kids later, get out. Tuesday's 11-4 vote after 5 a.m. was significant victory for Atlanta's mayor, Andrew Dickens, who made the $90 million project a large part of his first term office, despite significant pushback for the effort. The decentralized Stop Cop City movement has galvanized protesters from across the country, especially in the wake of the January fatal shooting of Manuel Perez Terran, a 26-year-old. Okay. So, I mean, what is in Cop City? What can we expect in Cop City? The training center was approved on September 21, but okay, so what's going on in Cop City? They're just training them. They're just training cops in Cop City. You just show up and it's 1,000 black mannequins and they're just riddled with bullets. It's like you show up and they have those the things that swing, the targets that like swing, they like swing up, and then you're not supposed to shoot if it's a civilian, and if it's like and then it swings up, and if it's a black guy, you just lay into it, and it's just 1,000, Scots-Irish cops, failures, failures in whatever they were trying to do, so they became a cop. I've said this before, but the people that become cops because they have nowhere else. They've taken every path and they've failed at every path, so they become a cop. They couldn't really they tried McDonald's, they didn't like it. They didn't like the management, it didn't pay well enough. They tried the military, but they got kicked out because they were too fat and they couldn't keep up with the mile pace. Then maybe they tried like a car salesman, but they weren't charming enough. They're kind of like, everyone kind of like, when you go towards them, you're like, this guy just gives me a weird vibe. Like, he seems like violent. This guy seems like he wants to hurt someone. Like, if I don't, like, people, like, he would get, he's like the salesman who would get sales. He would get like 3 sales because people were scared they were going to get hurt if they don't say yes to the deal. He would stand by them, and he would put his like hands on his collar. He's not even a cop yet, but he would put his hands on his collar like he's wearing a cop vest. He'd be like, well, do you want to sign, or are we going to have a problem? I'm getting you a good deal here. I'm getting you a really good deal here. And everyone's kind of like, so he's had like several complaints against him. His boss is like, oh, I can't really do anything. He's like a contractor. I actually don't pay him. He only gets commission. And eventually it's like he's gotten so many reports. Now he's like, well, I don't really have anywhere to go. And then he sees, oh, my last resort, the shining beacon for the best of the best, the world's best and brightest, the PD, the police department. He rolls up and he says, hey guys, I'm down to my last hope. Here's my resume. Do you guys have a position for me? They're like, so it says here that you failed out of military school. Is that correct? He's like, well, yes. And they're like, awesome. Perfect. It also says here that you had several complaints about your behavior while selling cars. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. Okay. Well, here's your badge, and here's your gun, and here's your taser, which you don't really have to even use that. You can just leave that here if you want. The gun's good enough. But we're gonna drop you off at Cop City. It's kind of fun. It's like a day camp. All the buddies are gonna be there. Go make some friends. Go practice, choke holds on some guys. Just wrestle around. It's real fun. We've got some booze over there. We've got alcohol. We've got, there's a mess hall. We've got a Chick-fil-A over there. We've got everything you want. Cop City. Hit it up. After a week, come back. You'll get everything. We'll give you your car. You can go start shooting people if you want. I think you're going to be a very valuable member of this team and this organization. Welcome to the family. That's what I imagine goes on when you try to become a cop. Who even, what's the thought process that goes into being a cop? Hey, I want a job where every single person I talk to secretly hates me. My family will hate me, and this is why, I feel like kids of cops will become cops because they're like, well, my family won't hate me. But it's like, if you become a cop, it's like, dude, you suck. You come to Thanksgiving and you're like, yeah, dude, so I was pulling over this kid. He was going 5 over. I just wanted to see him cry. He shit his pants. He literally shit his pants when I pulled him over. I pulled my gun out. I put my hand on my gun and I said, do you have any weapons in the car? And he shit his pants. And you just start laughing. And everyone at Thanksgiving is looking at you like the biggest asshole. Those are the people that, they probably wear their vest to Thanksgiving to, look cool. They're like, yeah, I'm a bit of a cop. I'm a bit of a cop myself. I prefer to be called deputy. People around the office call me Deputy John. Yeah, we stopped a big drug bust the other day. A kid was smoking a doobie. A single doobie. One of the biggest busts we've had all season. But okay, let's continue on with TikTok time. Okay. This is interesting. This is some more evidence of COINTELPRO going on at January 6th. So COINTELPRO is when the FBI infiltrates an organization to cause, what is it? Distrust in the organization. They've done this with the, BLM. They did it at January 6th, and here's some video.
We need to go into the Capitol. Into the Capitol.
So all these people are just chilling around, and this was on January 6th, when people were just chilling around at DC, and then this guy, obviously a Fed, starts screaming, "We need to go into the Capitol. You guys aren't thinking big enough. We need to charge into the Capitol." And everyone's standing around like, why?
What?
What? No. Peacefully. Fed.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
I don't even like to say it because I'll be arrested. Well,
He said, I don't even like to say it because I'll be arrested. We need
to go. I'll say it. All right. We need to go in.
Shut the fuck up, boomer.
Shut the fuck up, boomer. Someone's live streaming on Twitch.
We need to go into the Capitol.
No.
Okay. Monument Hill. Stop speaking. We are going to the Capitol.
Here's this guy again. Separate video. This guy's not streaming. It's the same guy, different day. We are going to the Capitol where the problems are. That is our direction.
Where our problems are. It's that direction.
This guy's
We spread the word.
and he's wearing now he's wearing his vest. This guy's the most obvious Fed in the world. So he's telling these people, we are going where the problems are. Charge the Capitol. Guys, I'm definitely not an FBI federal agent. Charge the Capitol right now. That's the best plan. Spread the word.
Okay, but one more thing.
And here he is again. Another video of him in a separate location. All right, but one more thing.
No?
When we go in,
Are we going to get arrested if we
leave
go
this
up there?
here. Yeah, you don't need to get
Did you
shot.
arrest us all?
Look, he's the first one. This guy is the Forrest Gump of feds. He was everywhere. Now he's on the front. He's like one of the first people being let into this thing. Look at it. They haven't even opened the gates yet. And first off, when they open the gates, they literally opened the gates. During January 6th, they let the people in. It wasn't some sort of like charge or anything. I don't know why people say that. It was almost a tour. They said, "Hey, come on in. We're opening the doors." They like all opened the doors. They just like let them in. It was the weirdest thing ever. And people trying to like change history and say that it was like violent are absolutely crazy. There he is. Oh well, I guess they are knocking down the wall there. So here he is. Here he is again. Charging the Capitol. Doing his job. He's doing his job. What a good Fed. Well played, Fed. There you go. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. The same dude in like 12 different videos. Inciting insurrection. Doing his job well. Let's watch one more video. I like this video. So this is the this video went kind of crazy viral recently on TikTok because of how like brain dead, mind rot this guy is. They even showed it on ESPN. It's called if you don't know what it is, it's the Baby Gronk video. Just look up Baby Gronk. It's just the most retarded thing, but it's this dude who's like boiled down the way, like the speech pattern that is good for TikTok retention. He adds noises, he adds like flashing imagery, and he is a full-grown adult talking about the prospect of a child getting a girlfriend. And it's just like one of these people on TikTok that just like cover the most retarded news all the time. And this guy's covering news of what he calls Baby Gronk. Gronk as in Gronkowski from the ex-Patriots. But here's the video. Oh wait, here we go. I'll just play the whole video. That's the video of it on ESPN, but here's the, let's see, Baby Gronk.
Here's everything you need to know about Baby Gronk. Many received messages.
I can barely watch one of these.
Baby Gronk is beefing with Barstool Sports. Libby Dunn's boyfriend, Baby Gronk, is one of the best college football prospects of all time. He has over 100 D1 offers and has met with Nick Saban. Recently on their podcast, Barstool said this about him.
You know the little Gronk kid? I prayed on his downfall at Easter Mass one year. I actually prayed.
This is so bad.
Hey, are you that kid from the internet?
Yeah, I'm Baby Gronk.
I'm Liv. Nice.
Baby Gronk rizzing up.
Okay, this is officially my new favorite video.
Libby just convinced Baby Gronk to commit to LSU.
What?
Baby Gronk is the #1 college football prospect in the country.
Yeah?
He averages 300 yards and 5 touchdowns a game.
Baby
On his
Gronk,
visit to
though.
LSU, Libby rizzed him up. Libby even hugged Baby Gronk.
Libby even hugged Baby Gronk. I mean, it's just a total deterioration of, TikTok. It's like, it's crazy. But that being said, thank you everyone for listening. This has been the AfroMattt Show. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with a friend. If you didn't, let me know why in the comments. And have a nice evening. Goodbye.